Investor Connect podcast program. This is Hall T. Martin. I'm the host of the show, in which we interview angel investors, venture capital, private equity, family offices, and many other investor groups for startups and growth companies. I hope you enjoy this episode. Thank you for joining us. Well, hello, this is Hall Martin with Investor Connect. Today we're here with Daniel Hallawi of KapVista. Daniel, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
Great. So what was your background before investing in early stage companies?
So I had 10 plus years in funds and wealth management for global financial institutions. And then I stepped away from the corporate grind and became a founder myself. I got to experience the daily roller coaster of emotions that founders face. And I did that for a number of years. And then I moved into the investment space, and now I wear multiple hats. I run a family office for my own family assets. I sit on a number of boards for startups, as well as the board for a private equity investment fund. And then I run a platform that showcases deals and opportunities to investors and connects companies and talent and investors all in one.
Great. So what excites you right now?
Everything really. I'm pretty agnostic across the board, but what excites me is that unfakeable spark in founders. You can just tell it's that X factor that you can't put your finger on, that when you speak to a founder, you just get those almost butterflies in the stomach. That's what I get excited about. And lately there's been quite a few. I mean, there's a focus on the innovation space. So there's some great talent that's coming out, and that's what excites me.
Well, great. So for those investors out there in the audience, what's your advice for them before they start to invest in startups? What do you tell them to do before they write that first check?
Firstly, look for a team like founders or a team that just click. You invest in people over products, especially at the early stage. And then once you've found that team, understand the company, understand the industry, do research on the space. And I always say invest in companies with substance, something that's there. If they're trying to build a company and just acquire users with no real revenue in the future, I tend to stay away.
Great. And for those on the other side of the table starting businesses, what do you tell those founders before they launch that startup?
So from day one, make yourself investor ready. So in terms of the structure, the guidance, compliance, everything, make sure that you're investor ready from day one, or focused on investors, because the right investor can make or break your business. Not having the right investor can almost guarantee your business will fail. So once you're started and you're going, you need to, and you're ready to look to raise capital, you need to manufacture serendipity to find the right investor, either by hustling your way into the view of every investor or utilizing every available resource possible to get your offer out there. First impressions matter. And I always like to use the analogy that deals are like buses. There's always one 5 minutes away. So make sure that you seize your opportunity with the investors in front of you. Be transparent, be punctual, always be on top of. If you say you're going to do something, do it. If you say you're going to send them a pitch deck or documents or whatever it is, do it. If you're meeting for a coffee, arrive 5 minutes late. I've had so many founders blow their opportunities by just letting things fall through the cracks, arranging to meet and then 5 minutes late or 10 minutes late, and not being courteous of their time and the effort that the investor has gone to meet you.
Well, great. So let's talk about the state of investing in startups. How do you see the industry evolving? What changes do you see coming up?
So there's more of a focus on the VC and PE space. So you have people with a pretty sizable bank balance that are now looking at the VC PE space as opposed to other traditional investment options. So it's more money is coming into the space. There's more money to fund innovation, and there is greater nurturing of talents. I think in the last 3 or 4 years, there's been an influx of absolutely brilliant companies that are coming through. And I'll say kids, but young adults these days are just a lot more switched on. They're a lot more talented, and they're a lot more willing to try the hand at entrepreneurship, which can only benefit this sector. I think we're going to see a huge uplift in not only the talent side of things and incredible companies and innovation, but also there's going to be a lot more money coming into this space.
So tell us about your investment thesis and what startups fit that thesis. What do you look for in a startup?
I have a list of a few things. Now, not every single one needs to be met, but it does help if you have two or three of these. So I look for a strong foundation team, a clear path to revenue, bootstrap mentality, and incredible tech. I think they make the good basis of a great investment. As I said before, I look to invest in the people as opposed to the product. Obviously, if the product is incredible and you can't turn away from it, but I invest in the team.
Great. So you see a lot of startups out there. What are the challenges you see them facing today beyond fundraising? Is it the regulatory environment? Is it the market? Is it technology? Or is it something else?
I think with more funding available means increased competition. So there's a lot more people in the space, a lot more talented individuals that are starting companies. So in terms of your peers, there's a lot more of them. And I think that's going to be one of the challenges for good startups to stand out.
Great. Well, you see a lot of sectors and applications out there in the startup world. If you had to pick one or two that are good opportunities for investors to follow up now, what would you choose?
I like clean energy. I think given there's a big push for climate change. I think clean energies and battery technology is going to be a big push. There's going to be a lot of innovation in this space, and a lot of incredible things are going to be happening in this space. SaaS platforms are making life a lot easier, and if you can structure it right, it's a really good revenue model. And I look at legacy industries that are ripe for innovation, like real estate and recruitment. Both of these haven't changed much in the last 20 or 30 years. So if someone can come with a really good tech platform and disrupt this space, I think they're on to a winner.
Great. Well, in the last few minutes that we have here today, what else should we cover that we haven't?
I thought it'd be great to get your opinion. I'm well versed on Asia Pacific, but what sort of hot industries in the US? What's hot in the US right now in terms of startups and investors?
Well, so blockchain was very hot last year, still continues to work. They're in that cycle where they have raised money and now they're out building code. And I think this year and next year, we're going to start seeing some of the results of that come out. AI and machine learning is probably the top one I hear the most about right now. Still a lot of investment going into it. I'm also seeing a lot of clean tech, as you mentioned, as well as climate change technologies coming up. We're getting more and more people coming in with carbon sequestration and other technologies for reducing the CO2 emissions and for accommodating the new reality that we have here with climate change. Venice is now underwater, Australia's on fire. And so it's starting to become a very real thing. And as funding shows up, so will the venture capital community and the startup community to start solving some of those problems. So I think that's what we're going to see coming up in the next 2-3 years in a bigger way.
Yeah, that's great. It's the same on this side of the planet. There's a big push, and especially out of Southeast Asia and Asia Pacific, there's a big focus on that clean tech and tackling the carbon issues. And I think that's great. Anything that we can do to help the planet and raise awareness for these legacy businesses that have been doing the same thing for year on year and not changed. If the startup space and the innovation space can tackle that and change their bigger brothers, then it's great.
Well, great. Well, appreciate your taking time. How best for listeners to get back in touch with you?
So I think you have all my details and they'll be listed on here. But if anybody wants to head over to www.KapVista, KapVista.com, that's my platform. And that's where I use this as a funnel for my investment vehicles and the companies I work with, but also gives me an opportunity to connect with some amazing companies that are coming through.
Great. We'll include those in the show notes. I want to thank you for joining us today and hope to have you back for a follow-up soon.
I'd love to. Thanks for having me.
Investor Connect helps investors interested in startup funding. In this podcast series, experienced investors share their experience and advice. You can learn more at investorconnect.org. Paul Martin is the director of Investor Connect, which is a 501c3 nonprofit dedicated to the education of investors for early stage funding. All opinions expressed by Hall and podcast guests are solely their own opinions and do not reflect the opinion of Investor Connect. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon as a basis for investment decisions.